YouTube Action Family, it is K right here. I'm back at it with another good video for you guys today. Alright. Or, yeah, YouTube Libertarian Family. Sorry. Got mixed up. But, yeah, man, let's talk about it. Wanted to give my little take on this. But, I guess I would talk about private property rights in a stateless society. Here's the thing. I do believe, however, when it comes to property rights, I think property rights is very important in any society that you have, wherever you are in the galaxy or in the world, here on Earth. I am heavily in favor of having all lethal defense for your property, and whatever you need to do to defend your property, go ahead and do it. Nobody should be stopping you, and you should have the full ability to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting nobody. In terms of what I'm going to break down in this video is that a lot of people use the state as a means of justifying property rights, to say that, without freedom being free, which that would entail to say that the state needs to take your freedom away for you to regain it back at a lower cost or at a lower value. That means that you will never have the ability to speak, freely and do the things that you want to do to enjoy the rest of your life. And, the stupidity behind it is that the state operates in a very psychological, destructive manner, where it uses a lot of broken logic to say that, well, without us, you can't live properly, and that makes no sense because the people that are in power are the ones that are living off of your property and your value of what you're creating in principle as far as financial wealth. So, here's my issue with property rights now. Let's just use the United States. Great example. You get property anywhere in the U.S., you have to pay, the bullshit property tax and, all the other extortions on top of it. And if you don't abide to certain state laws with your property, the U.S. government can easily make that excuse to say, oh, well, I guess we'll just take everything away, or we'll force anything out of your house that we don't like seeing. So the weird thing about it is that a lot of government laws that are in place in most U.S. states, they try to restrict on what you can do with your house. And I find it weird because whenever that's being argued about how you could build your own land and do whatever you want, it's not true, because it's like the U.S. is like almost kind of turning into like a Nazi Germany style setup with its economy by trying to force the middle class to basically be screwed down more, or screwed up more. And yeah, on top of that, that's also applied to the rich as well, because they're having to be destroyed in that way, where they're not able to facilitate their own property however they want to. And it's like a never-ending cycle, because what you do is that you are making people pay more for the property that they have, and then they have to be restricted to hold that property, and then you throw all these unnecessary laws and regulations to basically point guns at innocent people to say that if you don't make this change to your property, then we're going to take everything out and put a lien on your house and force everybody out of your house. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down, because you see you see it all the time, like that 150-something-year-old dude back in Detroit, Michigan, or actually no, it was down in DC if I'm not mistaken. He didn't pay like a $50-something balance for his property tax, The IRS put a lien on his house and threw him off to the street. He didn't get compensated for his house. He didn't get anything anything back in return, but all that money that he had probably saved up to pay for the house. For some weird reason, the property tax didn't get paid for, and that was basically it for him. He wasn't able to have his own property, and it's like, you screw over, the lives of people like that have owned property for years, and that's just heavily immoral in nature. Now, in the libertarian sense, where, um, oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah. So, in a more decentralized view, this would not happen. Communities would be broken up into, massive competing communities, and you would have the ability to choose what you want to do with your income and your property. The issue, however, is that people have their own, disdain for what they want to do against others. So, property has to be managed in a way where the management of your property is protected by the right forces that will stand behind your property. And I think arbitration wise, judging definitely needs to be way better, especially, when markets, do take that over, to have DROs, which are direct response organizations, if I'm not mistaken, and other companies in that manner. But I think that's already there. You obviously have insurance agencies that will, stand up for your property if your property does get, destroyed and robbed, which I would hope that doesn't ever happen, at all in any free society. But I think the issue, however, is that a lot of people focus too much on what criminals will do to you, and they're too afraid to think that the average criminal will automatically be violent. And this is why government does what it does with property rights, because we as humans will just naturally come out of our evil path to take over people's property and just naturally win by might makes right. And I disagree. I don't think that's how property rights really work, and I think the average human wants other people to leave them alone, because when you think about it, any community now that has their own house, most people just want other people to be left alone, and they want to have their own space. So how is that properly determined? You obviously have to have more competition to provide the best services to sustain your property, and you can have the space that you want to defend your property. And I think that's how it should be, because no one's obligated to tell you what to do. The issue, however, is that when it just comes to property rights in general, a lot of people fail to understand how property rights should be managed in a stateless order, because people are so unprincipled to the point to think that property rights don't exist, so therefore we can do whatever we want as people. And that's not true, because if property rights don't exist, then humans would just naturally just be stealing from each other, and this whole world would be absolutely upside down a lot more. And that's clearly not the case. Humans have a natural ability to property rights, and nobody doesn't tell another person what they can or cannot do with their body. So pretty much the end goal for a libertarian stateless order would be more focused on making sure property rights are properly respected and nobody doesn't screw other people over. Because the issue is that if somebody tries to F with you and you have the ability to hurt that person, and I can kill that person out of my own self-defense, then yes, I should have the ability to do that as many times as I need to. I think the issue, however, is that a lot of people play a lot of stupid political mind games to think that if you have your own property, you're never going to be successful in defending it if you have other arbiters that want to take control of your property. And that's clearly not true, because it's like if you have the ability to control your wealth and do the things that you wanted to do, like your own boss, like, with any other company that runs a company, you would have all the services needed to protect your house, and you wouldn't need to be worried about your home being invaded by unknown invaders, that being criminals. So I think that's a bigger problem with misunderstanding how property rights will be handled. And I think the end goal for us, libertarians that are ANCAPs, by the way, that focus on true principles, property rights is the very first thing that needs to be focused. And on top of that, I think there needs to be a lot more fierce, competitive services that could give people the help that they need. So therefore, we can see what a pure free market would be, where everybody has the ability to compete with their own service. You don't have to pay any permits to build your own business. You can do whatever you want to do, and you have the ability to manage your own company. And I mean, if anything, you could have your own company at your own house. That's what makes it even better. So I think the end goal for us, libertarians, is that we will end up winning pretty well with property rights. It's just really based on how you would structure society in a way to make sure security is being protected under your property rights. And I think property rights is really important to most people already. And most people, at least in America, they already understand the concept of property rights, because if we never understood the concept of property rights, then life would be very, very violent in this country. And it would just be, guns and roses, people just shooting each other out of pure ill will, and people, just bringing out funeral deathbeds, to everybody. So I don't want that, and I'm pretty sure most people don't want that. And the people that probably do want that are just a very small minority of psychopaths. But I think it's better to have these conversations while we're doing it now. And heading into the future, that's where pure decentralization will play its role. And I even know out in Somalia, like, especially when Somalia was being talked about having anarchy, with all that BS talk, like, about them being stateless and all that, knowing that, it's like 19 governments that are being formed, if I'm not mistaken, going at it with each other. It's already bad enough to show that the inconsistency of how a lot of state government media will try to lie to you to make sure that they can make anarchy look bad, and then make the state look good, or government philosophy look better. But it's all smoke and mirrors, and I think at the end of the day, us true libertarians will end up winning, and the state will crumble itself pretty fast. So yeah, but I think property rights is a pretty simple thing to figure out. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.